Hi fans of high quality entertainment. So this video is about when I was much younger and I would be buying cutout bin records. And in case you don't know what that is, it's when, I guess for the most part when albums don't sell, they of course cut the price of them, and they usually would like cut a corner of the album or put a hole in the album on the cover, and they'd sell it for like $1 or $2. And I bought, because when I was younger I didn't have that much money, just like now. And I would just buy almost anything that looked kind of rock related. And so I ended up buying a lot of $1 or $2 albums that weren't very good. But I also bought quite a few bargain basement albums that turned out to be great. And so I would say 19 of these 20 CDs I'm about to show you I originally bought on vinyl back in mostly in the early 70s. And I've ranked them from 20 to number 1. Yeah, there's only one that I bought on CD at a really good price. So number 20, originally on vinyl, probably about 1972 or earlier, Lord Sutch and Heavy Friends. I think I would have bought this no matter what, but when it said on the front cover Jimmy Page, John Bonham, Jeff Beck, Noel Redding, and Nicky Hopkins, I was absolutely going to be buying it. And there's Lord Sutch, the greatest singer of them all. Not. No, he's kind of he was a pretty well-known British entertainer. I think he even got into politics later on. But he could not really sing that well. But the music is really good on a lot of this album. Especially love the song Flashing Lights with Jimmy Page's slide guitar work. So yeah, it's not a great album, but it's kind of a fun, good album. Lots of great music and mediocre vocals. Number 19. Yeah, so going through all of the bargain bin vinyl records at the record store, I come across some weird album cover and it's like, I'm gonna buy that because if it's weird, I might like it. And I did. This is Farewell Aldebaran by Jerry Yester and Judy Henske. There they are, looking a bit more normal. Of course, Jerry Yester was in the Youngbloods, I believe, and Judy had a pretty successful solo career. This is very early 70s. There it is there, or late 60s. And yeah, it's not, it's not one of my favorites, but I enjoyed it when I did buy it. Probably out of 10 albums I would buy, for $1 or $2, I'd end up keeping maybe 1 or 2 of them. All right, number 18. The year, I'm pretty sure it was 1972. So once again, a pretty unknown band. I'd never heard of them. And one of the band members ended up becoming very famous in a band and also had a very, very successful solo career. He was a superstar. So the band is called Flaming Youth, and the album, the one and only album they ever made, is Arc 2, and there is Phil Collins right there. And it's actually it's a pretty good album, actually. The sound quality isn't the greatest, not the best produced album, but the songs are kind of fun. And Phil does, like, he's mainly the drummer on this, but he does sing also. Number 17. This was a double vinyl record, and I probably bought it for like $1 or maybe $2. And this would be 1970, because I remember moving in 1972, so I remember having this vinyl record before I moved. So it would be 1971, or maybe 1970. No, 1971, yeah. Ike and Tina Turner, What You Hear Is What You Get, a double live album. And a few years ago, I finally got it on CD. Here's the track listing. Of course, Tina Turner, one of the greats. Number 16. A pretty popular band back in the early 70s, and I talked about them yesterday, and I guess, I didn't notice, but somebody commented that I said Edgar Wright, the film director for Sparks, the Sparks Brothers, and of course many other great movies, instead of Edgar Winter. I apologize. But anyway, it was this album I found in a bargain bin in the early 70s. Shock Treatment. And at the time, I thought it was just okay, but I like it a lot more now. Edgar Wright. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Number 15, yeah, like, it would be all, you know, for the genres, for back in the early 70s, it'd be all over the place. And this is more of a blues rock based band. And the only album I've ever heard by them, Savoy Brown. And of course I was taken by this awesome album cover. Actually, the back cover too. And it's a really good album. I was glad I bought it for $1. Number 14. One of my older brothers had their greatest hits, which I absolutely loved. And at some point, I found this for $1 or $2. Sly and the Family Stone Life. I believe it's their, I think it's their third album. And it is excellent. Number 13. And some of these, I have a pretty good memory of being in the record store and seeing the album and buying it. And this is one of them. It is The Rascals, Once Upon a Dream. And their drummer Dino did this artwork out of clay, which is very cool. And there's the band. Go right up. Number 12. Poor Flo and Eddie. They were in the bargain bin. And this is a, two albums on, two complete albums on 2 CDs. But it's this album here, Moving Targets, that I bought for a couple of dollars back in the early, probably the mid-70s. probably around the time it came out. And it is really good. It's a great pop rock album. And they even redo the Turtles' Eleanor, and it's really, really well done. Now number 12, it's the only bargain that I bought on CD, not vinyl. And I got this probably about 3 years ago when I was visiting Molly. At a record store, they had the double, well, I think it's just one, well, it is, it's 2 CDs. Miles Davis, Bitches Brew, I like saying that. Look at the price. $3, and it was in excellent condition too. Yeah. And it even came in the plastic, all for $3. That was a deal. Number 11. Yeah, there were a couple of these on vinyl that I bought, and this is, one was called Portraits, which is great, and the other one by the Buckinghams is In One Ear and Gone Tomorrow. Great, great pop rock from, I believe it was 1968 when this was released. And sadly, it was their final studio album. But they were a great band. Number 9, another album by this band. The Rascals, C. Once again, even if it wasn't the Rascals and it was some lesser known band, if I saw this album cover and it was $1, I would have probably bought it anyway. And this also includes a later album of theirs, Search and Nearness. But this one is excellent. Oh, the rest of these are so good. So, number 7 is, there were actually 2 albums. I actually had both, separate on vinyl for like $1 or $2 back in the early 70s. But my favorite is the Eric Burdon Band, Sun Secrets. And the other one was Stop, which was okay, but wasn't anything great. But Sun Secrets is awesome. I might have the numbers screwed up a bit, but it doesn't matter. There's 20 albums in total here. So number 7, I believe. Yeah, I got this on vinyl back in probably the middle of the 70s. And it is, I've been thinking of putting this album in for our album exchange at some point. It's the band Man and Rhinos, Winos, and Lunatics. Now this was a gatefold, but it's one of these original album series, which are great, but they don't have any, they're just very plain, no gatefolds or anything. But yeah, excellent bluesy, psychedelic, progressive rock, some great guitar work. I've always loved this album. And some bargain basement vinyl records I would buy, I'd play them once or twice and be done with them. And this one was just, I think I liked maybe 1 or 2 songs, but I didn't really care for it that much. But many years later, listening to it on Spotify, I ended up buying it because I really love it today, as does Glenn Kellaway from the Basement. Coliseum. Valentine's Suite. Although mine was the US Canadian version, which was called, if it's here, yeah, The Grass is Greener. And so both of them are included on this because there's some different tracks on each of the records. That just got me thinking I should do a top 10 spooky, freaky album covers, because that would definitely be one of them. Kind of reminds me of the debut of Black Sabbath. Number 5. This one I talk about quite often because, you know, there's certain albums when you're younger, they stick with you all of your life. And I played this so many times. It is Canned Heat, Hallelujah. Yeah, I bought this for not more than $2, if that. And just played it so much. Top 4. Number 4. Once again, an album I kind of liked when I bought it for $2 or whatever. But in recent years, I've grown to really, really love it. And it's my favorite album of theirs, actually. The band, Cahoots. And this is the remixed version. I think it's very underrated. And the second disc on this CD is a live show. Paris, May 1971. Number 3, The Kinks. I had, well, there's this one here that I'm going to show you, and I also had, what's it called, the black, you know, it was a plain black cover, double vinyl with all of their hits. That was the first time I really listened to the Kinks, and I loved it. And then around the same time, in a bargain bin, the Kinks, yeah. And some of these albums had just come out, you know, maybe a few months before, and they're in a bargain bin. And yeah, I've always loved this album. And of course, I have a lot of the other Kinks early albums now too. So number 2 and number 1, I became fans of both of these artists because, thankfully, they were in a bargain bin one day, and or a cutout bin. And so it was my first time listening to Lou Reed, Glenn Kellaway's favorite artist. So this came out in 1976, so like I said, it was probably just a few months later I found this in a cutout bin for $2.99 or whatever. And like I said, first time ever hearing Lou Reed, and I was a fan right away. It's one of my favorite Lou Reed albums. And this person, I'd always heard of him since the late 60s. I would see his albums, you know, in stores and think, just from the album cover, I would like that artist, I think, because that's a crazy album cover. And this was in, I think it was in a bargain bin the very same year it came out. Even though, you know, I think it sold, so I don't know why, but One Size Fits All by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Yeah. Not bad for like $2 or $3. And I'm pretty sure I bought that in 1975, and that's the year this album came out. So that was a good bargain. And once again, like Lou Reed, as soon as I heard this album, it's like, I'm a fan for life. Yeah. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like the video, leave a comment below, and tomorrow, Sunday, December 3rd, I believe, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing a live chat, so I should have a link for it in the pinned comment below. And thank you for watching, and have a great day, and let me know what kind of bargain albums you bought throughout the years and you became a fan of the band because of it. Bye.